We've just seen Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves twice in the theatre. Here's our non-spoiler review. Villa Varykino, living the Star Wars life. Hello there, and welcome back to the Villa Varykino YouTube channel. I'm Christy.
And I'm Matt.
We had the opportunity to see this movie quite a fair bit before its official release date due to a special advance screening that one local theatre chain was putting on, and then a rival theatre chain decided to put them to the post and do a screening the day prior. So we were able to get 2 screenings in well before the release date.
And look, I have to say, it's been a long time since I've come out of a movie and wanted to pretty much immediately turn around and go back in and watch it again.
Yeah, the film had very much a vibe that I felt resonated well with the sort of movie that I would enjoy, the kind of movie that I would want from a Dungeons & Dragons franchise. Having watched all the trailers online, I was really hoping that the film itself would live up to the expectations and the vibe portrayed in the trailer, and I think this film really does do that.
Well, I think it goes beyond the trailers. There's actually a heck of a lot more to it when you break it down. I was fully engaged for pretty close to 2.5 hours by the time I got out of the theatre. Yeah, it's engaging from end to end and in a very, not just visually, but the storytelling and the characters, all aspects of it, 5 stars on from all those dimensions.
It's interesting when you have a sort of a ensemble cast like this made up of some very famous actors and some more newcomers to the film industry. And I felt like they all stood very well on their own. All of the characters had their different sort of personalities, their skills that they brought to the table. Obviously, Chris Pine is a sort of very charismatic leading man, and he plays that very well in this film. But the other characters aren't left just sort of trailing behind. I felt like they really added to, and I was very invested in all of the individual characters.
Yeah, on both sides of the actual story narrative, the good guys and the bad guys. But no, Chris Pine is a fantastic lead in this. I say lead, but as you say, it is an ensemble cast. There's a team of adventurers, but Chris Pine really does capture the audience. His characterization is really appropriate for the character he plays, but also the class he plays. In fact, I found it quite, from the point of view of a Dungeons and Dragons player, I found all the class representations amongst the characters to come across pretty well.
Yeah. If you're familiar with the classes and the different sort of specializations, you will feel those echoed in the characters. There are some really fun nods for Dungeons and Dragons fans and players.
Lots of name dropping every time they have to bring up a specific location. It's a name drop, and there's a couple of other key name drops in there that we won't go into. They're fun when they happen.
Yeah, and some beasts and different monsters and things like that.
Seen some
locations.
I've seen some of the creatures in the trailer, but there's a couple more to keep your eyes out for.
Yeah. And there's some really great sort of comedic moments, and just sort of, it feels like a campaign. You're sort of watching these people having to come up against problem solving, and sort of how are they going to put together the skills and what they know to be able to sort of achieve their end goal. Yeah. And I think that was really fun.
There's a couple of key moments where they really have to think outside the box, use the resources and tools that they have available, which are limited and quite unique in their characteristics, and come up with a plan. And that actually comes across in a way that really does feel like problem solving during a Dungeons & Dragons campaign.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where at the end, boss is not sort of like too unbelievably powered that it's a little unbelievable to see the sort of group of heroes band together and somehow take them down. I thought it was very well balanced.
Yeah, it was a balanced fight, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was quite interesting. It wasn't unbelievable, and there was lots of heartfelt moments, lots of comedic moments. It was the sort of film that, yes, I was very, very much keen to see it again on the big screen, and that doesn't happen often for me. Often I walk out and I go, yeah, that was worth seeing on the big screen, and then I wait until it's on the streaming service. So this one I did want to see it again on the big screen.
Yeah, in terms of seeing it on the big screen, there are a couple of sort of panoramic shots and even sort of landscapes and geography and even buildings and villages that really just catch my eye. Some of those scenes where there's, snow-covered buildings and snow-covered trees, or some of it must have been built, some of it must have been CG, but, the visual aspect of it I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, and of course it is no spoiler to reference the fact that there are dragons in this Dungeons and Dragons movie. It's really fun seeing these sort of large creatures up on the big screen. And I won't give spoilers away, but there were some really fun moments in there. I'm just trying to think about some of the other things to sort of reference without giving away spoilers. We saw it with packed theatres, the two sessions we saw were completely sold out. And there were so many moments where everyone around us was laughing and getting the reference points, and you could hear people reacting to references and things showing up on screen and the jokes. It felt like all the beats were hitting the right marks. People were laughing where there were jokes and sort of, following along. I could hear people gasping in certain moments. And it just sort of had this real sort of camaraderie. We saw people turning up to the theater with Dungeons and Dragons t-shirts on and stuff like that. That there was a good mix of players and people that just wanted to see this on the big screen, that were just movie fans and wanted to see if this was going to sort of live up to expectations.
I think the main take home that I would want to convey, you get a feel for the visuals and a feel for the characters to a certain degree from watching the trailers, but the movie is really so much more than that. There's so much more to see, so much more to absorb, and so much more to appreciate in terms of the characters and their respective story arcs, which are true adventures for each of them as well as for them as a group together.
Yeah, overall, I'm so happy we got to see this. I've been waiting for it to come out and being able to see it essentially 2 weeks or so before its official release date. I was so glad that my wait was cut short and we could see it, and that I came away going, yep, that was worth the wait. And I'm really looking forward to either seeing it a third time or at least when it's on streaming services, because I get the feeling there are more Easter eggs than I was able to even pick up with everything going on.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to getting some of the more behind-the-scenes material as well. Like, I really want to get my hands on the Art of book. I think there's a behind-the-scenes book that's coming out later this month.
I know that there is a tendency to look at these big blockbuster films and just see that it's just going to be just a CGI, sort of extravaganza. But I was actually, I thought it was interesting that a number of the creatures look like practical effects. I thought that was fun, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I'm the sort of the person that doesn't go to the movies as often as I would hope to. So we do really pick and choose the movies that we really want to see, spend the money to go and see on the big screen. And this was definitely one that I would give 2 thumbs up for. Thanks for listening to our impromptu and exuberant review. If you get the chance to see this movie on the big screen, I hope you enjoy it as much as we did. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. Check out our other videos and subscribe for alerts about new uploads. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.